Is key over the Easter period. Emergency services remain on high alert. The N3 Toll Concession manages the N3 toll route between Heidelberg and Gauteng and the Cedara in KwaZulu-Natal and keeps a close watch on traffic patterns, driver behaviour as well as crash statistics. Let's get an update on this stretch of road. Praveen Sunderlall is the incident manager at the N3TC and he now joins us via Skype. Praveen, thank you very much indeed for your time. Just give us a sense, give us a report on the current traffic volumes.
Hi, good morning, Blaine. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on your show. I just want to say that the traffic volumes on the N3 since this morning has been extremely quiet compared to the previous years. Yesterday, we peaked at about 1,900 vehicles an hour between 10 and 11, and then it started just to simmer down. But I can tell you now that the N3 is extremely quiet. It's an indication to us that that the holiday makers have made their way to their destination. They're enjoying the festivities, they're enjoying the party. And as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of law enforcement that's still on the road, that's on high alert. There's a lot of emergency services which are still satelliting at designated areas along the N3. So we're quite pleased that over this period, starting from Thursday to current, we were quite pleased that there were no fatalities or no serious accidents. And it's an indication to us as well that the motorists have heeded to what we have been telling them in terms of the driver behavior, the driver patterns, taking regular breaks. And we just want to say congratulations, thank you. Plan your trip back when you're on your way back home. Van Riene's Pass is one of the areas which cannot hold, which has got no capacity in terms of traffic volume reaching 2,500 to 3,000 cars an hour. So we want to urge our motorists and holiday makers, you've reached your destination safe, get home safe as well. Plan your trip as stagnate at your times as well. I think that that's going to help. We don't want to flood Van Riene's Pass and then you'll be stuck in inconvenience for long periods of time.
You say, motorists have largely heeded the call in terms of arriving alive, as they say, and arriving to your destination safely. What do you think is the difference this time around, Praveen? What has changed? What sort of campaigns have been out there in order to affect this change?
I think, Blaine, just to go back, as N3 toll, part of my profile is to build capacity on the N3. And remember that the N3, that there are 4 provinces that cuts through our section. So we've been building capacity over the years, and I can see the fruits of it bearing now. The enforcement is out there. Remember, the minister went out last week as well. Minister Nzimande went out last week and said, guys, we've got now the EBAT system, which is the alcohol evidential device. So there's a lot of publicity out there in terms of road safety. There's a lot of campaigns that are on the road. We've got a lot of roadblocks. This is not being punitive, and this is not to inconvenience the motorists. What we're saying is that they are there for you. We've got emergency support along the road. We've got volunteer groups. We've got a whole host of people, and this is not a plan that we only do for Easter and the summer holidays. This is a 365-day plan that N3TC has in collaboration with the authorities along the N3.
Just, Praveen, tell us about, you spoke about the emergency services that are along the route. Have you identified the hotspots along the route, and are emergency roadside assistance as well as the traffic and route updates provided to help, I guess, mitigate instances?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got a 24-hour control center, which is 0800 63 4357. And inclusive of that, we have a 24-hour route patrol services. These guys are doing a phenomenal job, and they work in collaboration with the emergency services. They work in collaboration with the enforcement services. So it's not a silo effect that we're not working in a silo. I think that the success of what we have today, and I pray for when the motorists make their way back home, that the success is that it's a collaboration, it's a partnership, it's common understanding. It really doesn't matter which angle that you try this to save life, as long as that you have a participation. And I think this is where our success is. we've been extremely successful with partnerships. We're involved in co-partnerships, and we're involved in different projects with the authorities on the route. And this is where that the true reflection of what is happening happens. Normally during this time of the year, you would hear of horrendous accidents, and you would hear of horrendous. But we've been extremely grateful, and I think I think it's a partnership between us, the emergency services, law enforcement, and the biggest partner is the actual motorist himself.
You know, over the years, from the research, Praveen, that you've done, what are some of the human factors that contribute to the fatalities on the N3, for instance?
I would say the driver behavior is something beyond our control. We find that there's a degree of lawlessness amongst the drivers, deliberate intentions just to do the wrong thing. I'll give you an example. People deliberately remove their front registration plates because they know that there's average speed over distance cameras. So anyone who removes his front registration plate has an intention just to do something wrong. And when he's stopped at a roadblock and when his vehicle is searched, he would generally come out with a common excuse that it had fallen off or something to that effect. But when his vehicle is searched and there's his number plate sitting in the boot of his car. So we have a degree of lawlessness, driver behavior, driver pattern, and also the actual vehicle itself. We found out over the years that a lot of companies or a lot of individuals themselves, because of the financial restraints, they cut down on the service, and I think that's the worst mistake that we can make as law-abiding motorists, not taking care of your vehicle. So it's a combination of the vehicle being well and also the driver being well as well.
Yeah. Praveen, just tell us, when's the next peak period?
Well, we expect Monday. We expect all the holiday makers after the fun in Durban. Most of the people have settled down in Durban, and they're going to be making their way up on Monday. So we're expecting heavy volumes of traffic early Monday morning, leading right into the afternoon. So the northbound carriageway, which is generally the westbound carriageway, we're expecting at least 2,500 to 3,000 vehicles leaving KwaZulu-Natal, heading their way back home to whichever parts of the country that they've come through from.
All right. Praveen, thank you very much indeed. You guys are doing a great job there. Praveen Sunderlall, Incident Manager at the N3 Toll Concession. Thank you.